So we have this durable goods curse. Is there any way for the monopolists to get around this curse? Well, there are several potential ways they could solve the curse. So they could somehow commit to not lower the price. They could lease the good instead of selling it. They could limit the durability of the product through planned obsolescence. They could introduce product differentiation in some way. Or they could develop a reputation for not lowering prices. So how could they commit not to lower the price? Well, one way to do that is to offer, say, a lowest priced guarantee. And apparently Chrysler did this. So Chrysler said if they were to lower the price of a given car model, then they would refund all the previous buyers the difference between the lower price and the old price. And so this guarantee actually means that Chrysler cannot offer a higher price today and a lower price in the future. If they offer a lower price in the future, then they've also offered a lower price today. So this makes it very costly for Chrysler to lower the price in the future, and so they won't do it, assuming they honor the guarantee, which they have to if they've publicized it, because there are laws about that. Another way to solve the durable goods curse is to lease the good instead of selling it. So Xerox leased its photocopiers in the late 60s and early 70s. Leasing effectively turns a durable good into a non-durable one. The good is no longer a photocopier, it is actually now the use of the photocopier for a specified time period. So to see exactly how this works, let's take that example from earlier. If the good from the previous example were leased, then the high-value consumer would be willing to pay up to $300 to lease the good in each period, and the low-value consumer would be willing to pay up to $100 to lease the good for one period, because those were their valuations of the durable good for one period. So the numbers now are 300 and 100 in both periods. It's a very simple problem for the monopolist now. Either it prices at 300 today and tomorrow, or at 100 today and tomorrow. It will choose to price at 300 because that gives the higher profit. A half times 300 is 150. That's more than 1 times 100. So the best the monopolist can do is lease the good for 300 in each period. The profit is a half times 300 plus a half times 300, which is 300. So this is exactly the same as the profit, as if they could commit to the higher price in the case where they don't lease the good, they sell it. So you can see there's no longer any incentive to lower the price because the high value consumers are still around wanting to lease the good tomorrow, even if they lease it today. This is in contrast to the case where they don't lease it, where if they buy it today, then they're no longer in the market, only the low value consumers are in the market, and there's now this incentive to lower the price in order to sell to the low value consumers. Now we have planned obsolescence. So the monopolist might want to limit the durability of the good by hastening its obsolescence. So the idea is to try and turn the durable good into more of a non-durable good. So this could be achieved by directly shortening the life of the product, or indirectly by introducing new versions of the product over time, which make the old versions obsolete. The monopolist could try and introduce some product differentiation, so there are different versions sold over time. So an example of this is with books. So it used to be, at least, that book publishers would first release the hardback version of a book, and then the paperback version would follow. So if you're a high-value consumer, you value this book highly, you're probably willing to pay more for the hardback as well. So the idea is to differentiate the two versions further, the version sold today and the version sold tomorrow, in order to make the high valuation consumers less willing to wait for tomorrow, because if they wait, then they'll miss out on the hardback book. They'll only be able to buy the paperback version. And finally, reputation. So a firm may try to build up a reputation over time for not lowering its price over time. So think about a firm that produces a series of different durable goods. So they don't just have one product they sell, they have multiple products. If we just consider one of those products in isolation, a firm may have an incentive to cut its price for that product. But if it does that, then consumers are going to expect them to do that on all their goods. So in the long run, this could be a bad strategy, and therefore they will not have this incentive to lower the price. So in the long run, the firm has to consider this long run cost of lost reputation. So after observing a price cut for one product, consumers will expect the firm to do that on all their future products. So this long run cost can be enough to outweigh the short run gain of lowering the price over time for one of its products. So this deters these price cuts. And therefore, this is one reason why there may not be a durable goods curse.